able to offer some assistance. But I can explain the whole thing very quickly.
So Sam says it's like when your parents argue awkward. And then Spanners puts a little ice cube in his drink, and then he gets angry. But anyway, it's a little bit dark. It's gone dark. Right, I tell you what. Right, hi guys. Where's my face? No, I've revealed those people. You don't want to see those people yet. Where's the logo? It's normally a logo. Hang on, there's me on my own. That'll do for the start. How's that? All right, let's go. You are listening to the Remain Indoors podcast, where we talk about the things that keep us entertained at home, lifey life, and we talk about the challenges of doing intros when you've not brought up your intro script. Remain Indoors. I didn't even get that right, did I? I said skipped instead of skipped. Oh well, it's a good job I've got help today. I'm your host, Richard Spanners Ready, but I'm joined by Matt Rumpets. Not actually the best start to a show ever. Do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to edit it afterwards. I'm going to do it again. And then...
Cheating.
No. And whilst I'm editing
You're the Bradley Philpott of podcasts. That's what I say.
Go and watch Bradley Philpott's championship winning stream. I'd say skip forward to 1 minute 26. You decide. I'm not going to say a dirty, horrible cheat. That's all on you. Whilst I'm at it, while I'm editing my new intro, I'm going to do that thing where I take, things you've said on previous shows and then of times of you going like, yes, that's right. But I'm going to make outrageous statements like, you do go on about tyres in the F1 show far too much, don't you, Matt? Yes, that's right, America. And that's what I'm going to do now. Restart everything, tear it up.
I think you should just have me respond with my Swedish accent imitation to all of your comments. I think that would be funnier.
And no one from Sweden ever listened again. Matt, can you tell that I'm slightly strung out? I'm slightly hung out. I'm on the washing line.
Yeah, well, I know exactly why.
Because
this is the inevitable rebound from vacation. Always happens.
I know. We're going to talk some holidays today, but essentially back from holiday mode now. And I feel like I had the holiday sprung on me. My wife will say, of course, you should take holiday in the summer. But when I was mapping out, a month ahead, I accepted certain projects, accepted certain deadlines. And for some reason with audiobooks, I set the deadline, it seems reasonable, but I kind of chill at the beginning and then I end up cramming towards the end, which is not something I do with any other type of work, but just for audiobooks for some reason, I end up kind of backfilling right to the deadline.
And the reason is you need the extra little bit of adrenaline to really get your performance right where you want it. I know it's the same thing for me when I have any creative endeavor. I'm like, all this time I could be organized, I could do outlines, but no, the longer you wait, the more pressure you're under. Just like a diamond, the better the result.
Maybe, but I do need to sort that out. If I actually want to do audiobooks as part of my working week, which I think is starting to work out because I'm starting to get a bit better at them. You can judge yourself, but here's the thing, right? I was really nervous about sharing an audiobook project that I completed actually in January and it took that long to sort of do the edits, go through the things, and for the publisher to say, okay, go, we'll greenlight it now. But I've shared it, but it was 2 studio upgrades ago, and it was 3 audiobooks ago. So even though I like the book and I'm okay with what I did with it, I'm like, oh no, don't listen to this one. Listen to this next one instead. But I feel like anytime I share a book, I'm already working on one that I think is better. So I was a bit nervous about it, but I have shared one called Isle of the Dead by a guy called Jody Ruth. And it is about a zombie apocalypse that starts in the Isle of Wight, which coincidentally is where I went on holiday. But there you can go and get it on Audible now. If you're a member, it'll cost you a token. But yeah, that's Tom Wheatley in the chat says he's loving Spanner's accent in the audiobook. So they can't all be bad. They only offend you if you're Scottish. But that is what you sound like. So it's not my fault. You don't know. You don't know the difference between English and Scottish.
I think I can by ear generally identify the different accents. Yes.
Well, this is it. Look, you cheat in life. You blow through a trumpet for your art, right? I am a voice smith. So I'm going to bring on another voice smith to help me with these debates. It's actress and journalist and broadcaster Alice Ryan. Hello, Alice.
Good afternoon, gang. The Scottish accent, yeah. It's probably still slightly better than everyone's Swedish accent, though. So, you know.
Now, you've done some voice acting, haven't you? You've done some voice acting. Yeah. Yes. So you must be called on to do the odd character voice. Well, what's your like go-to character voices?
What's really strange is actually I don't think I've ever done a strange character voice. I think they've just liked the RP that I've been trained to do. So it's just terribly, terribly most of the time.
Is that what you do?
I haven't even had a chance really to put on. It's probably sort of softer or harder than that, or can't even do like a sort of voice like this. Like no one's really. Everyone just wants the RP spanners.
That is received pronunciation. Is that what that's done?
It is. It is indeed.
So that's where you try to speak sort of like the Queen would, in that kind of royal tone.
This is how the Americans think we should all be speaking.
See, I don't.
How Matt probably hears all of us. Speaking terribly, terribly.
See, to Matt, I'm guessing all the English people sound vaguely the same. But like you can't hear your voice. You're not aware of your own voice. Like my normal speaking voice does have like a hint of not your kind of Essex, Alice, posh Essex, North Essex, Colchester. But then when I do the audiobooks, you try to settle down into a much more pronounced, you know that kind of thing. And I do feel like a bit of a fraud because that's not your real voice, is it, Alice? The RP. You're an Essex girl, South Essex.
Yes, but because I got taught this from a young age, I actually I'm hopefully, fingers crossed, doing a play next year where I'm going to have to do a reverse My Fair Lady, and they're probably going to have to teach me how to do more of an Essex and cool blimey governor thing. Otherwise, I will sound like Dick Van Dyke.
Oh man! Oh, we've got to see. We've never tried to get Matt to do a British accent.
There's a reason for that. When I was maybe in high school, I might have been able to sort of approximate one from all of my public broadcast show watching, masterpiece theater kind of stuff. But hilariously, I'm sharing the story of my wife being in the UK for work, and the person with whom she was working, she would hear an accent. She'd be like, "Oh gosh, I really love that accent." And it would always be like the most trash, low down accent possible. And the person she's with would just be like, sniff.
No, yeah.
Like, really? You think that's a good accent, huh? Okay.
The Americans seem to like, okay, obviously I'm going to murder this, but the do-do-don't-do of the Liverpool accent, and the Americans seem to quite like it, but we're all just like nails on a chalkboard going, be gone, be banished back up to the north, foul scouser.
Actually, you've imitated Thunderbee so many times, I've gotten fairly good at picking that accent out, and I'll hear someone be like, "Oh, I bet they're from up north," and sure enough, they're from up north.
Aye, the Newcastle accent, like, but I can only do that with things for nights out, so let's go trap off, like, and have a few jars and that, and that is Thunderbeast, if you're listening, that is exactly what you sound like, so don't be upset. Don't be upset. You're saying, you're going to have to reverse and do the Essex accent. Mm-hmm. So my family, my wife's family, I say they're my family now. I nearly said my family because I guess I'm used to them. But they are all from kind of Romford, and then down to Southwood and Ferris. So that kind of your neck of the woods. And when I try and imitate those guys, come down the boot fair, I'll do you a right bargain. Oh no, you mug! Don't offer me 50p for that. They all die on the inside, and they're like, "Oh, you sound nothing like us." Yeah, but yeah, so it's not very easy to get yourself into that mindset, but at least in Southend you are surrounded by those people.
Yeah, I can just wander down the seafront, get myself a Ross's and just listen to the estuary accent and pick it all up and play with it in whichever way I wish.
Now, when you're acting, because is this TV, stage?
This will be stage,
okay.
But
So,
I do a bit of everything.
are you one of those people, like, do you come in character and then you never leave? Or are you going to be, "Oh, lovely, these sandwiches were delightful. Line, Alice. Right, where's my jelly deals?"
Hopefully more like that. I don't know if I can do a Daniel Day-Lewis and live as the character, or was it Adrian Brody that lived in his car for The Pianist and gave up everything and dumped his girlfriend.
Really?
And I mean, he did get him an Oscar. So it's a tiny part of me that thinks, well, but I don't think I can, because I think it throws everyone else off unless you have an accent that you have to stick to. So I know that Meryl Streep had to keep sounding like Margaret Thatcher for The Iron Lady, because otherwise she was going to lose it.
Yeah.
So she was being friendly and chatty with everyone, and she had to keep apologizing that if she came out of the accent, she would totally lose it. So she was just Margaret Thatcher for the whole time filming.
No, it's interesting. With an audiobook where you've got so many different character accents, and they're not, you're never going to keep them the same. But when you've got 10, like, I have to have a little hook. So I kind of go like, that is Matt if he was Scottish, so I can, so you do try and do a rubbish Scottish accent, but then I imagine like how grumpy Matt would be in that situation. And that's always my hook. Grumpy Scottish Matt, Sorry, Matt.
Oh no, I am entirely used to it by now. Go ahead.
Fine. But this is exciting, Alice. You're going to be in a stage play. Is it a thing that we can go and see? Are you allowed to talk about it?
It's very early days. It's a new piece of writing that someone's put together. So because of COVID, we're still not quite sure.
No.
But what I'm loving is it's not stopping, although lots of people have lost their jobs, it's not stopping any of my friends from being creative. So they might not have any money coming in, but they're still writing and planning and still trying to push everything and still trying to do stuff. So we're hoping next year, and I'm hoping still to do some films before Christmas and things like that, just with all of the rules that we have to have in play.
So yes. On one hand, they are, looking for rats to eat in the back of alleyways and putting them in sandwiches with days old bread, but they are still being creative in that space. Yeah,
it's the main thing.
I like you when I listen to you. I think you're very talented. You're talented as an improv person. I loved sharing airtime with you. And whenever I saw your name pop up as the travel person, I would always be delighted, because I'm like, yay, we're going to fill 10 minutes of airtime before the travel, and it's going to be fun. What are you like when it's a play and it's just a script? How different is that to doing, some of the improv, which I get the sense that you're much more comfortable with the improv?
Weirdly, I've done more scripted work over the years. So when I was first joining up with the Laughter Academy in Southend and doing improv, I still in my head was trying to plan the whole thing. When it's improv, you can't plan anything. So actually, I've spent more time scripting. So I feel a little bit more comfortable with something in my hand that I can highlight and try and learn. But over the years, I've got more into the yes and way of improv. So then you can have fun on the radio by chatting about whatever Spanners comes up with and gives you 10 seconds to think about, and then you go.
Yeah. And sometimes I was able to like get on the pre-fade and while a song's going and go, Alice, we're talking about the favorite mushroom. What's the favorite mushroom you've ever seen? And then you would like go, in your head, I could hear you going, that's ridiculous. I've never had a favorite mushroom. Then by the time we get on air, you'd go, oh, my mushroom collection was stolen from me last year in the Great Mushroom Heist of 1874. I'm like, oh my God, she's amazing. Yeah, it's good fun. It's good fun, that.
It's good fun.
Right, sorry, gone down a complete rabbit hole. We'll talk a bit about your work as well. We'll get to the worky work. Because I asked you, Alice, I said, tell us what's been going on. What's life with you? And you were like, no, it's all been worky work. But first, we have a conundrum, a question, a query. Matt, you said your friend desperately needs our help, and only we can save him, is what he said.
Her.
Oh, okay. I was listening. I was definitely listening.
Her. Well, I'm not sure that I mentioned either direction, but regardless, this person is a friend of mine. She's one of the first people I met. We were in graduate school together. And in fact, we're in a chamber group together, and we're recording later today.
Huh.
But she's actually headed off to Scotland to get her PhD.
Ooh.
And she's having student visa issues.
Oh, my goodness.
And so I had said to her, I might know some people in the UK. Apparently, there's a third-party company that's responsible for it. But if anybody listening knows anything or anybody to help pry this loose, she's paid all the money. And they've just, they're refusing to respond to her. They're not getting back to her. They're not making the appointment to do,
Is this for a visa?
She has a quarantine place. She's got a spot in the school. But, these are the people that collect, the biometric data and stuff like that the country needs before you go over. So if anyone knows anyone, If you're in the Slack group, hit me up on Slack. Otherwise, mattpt55@gmail.com. Would really appreciate it.
So that's strange. So it's an American citizen trying to get into the UK to start her PhD, to do a uni education in the UK, and is struggling to get into the country because she can't confirm all her COVID details and all that kind of stuff.
I think for a student visa, it's probably a little bit more than that. They probably want fingerprints because they don't want you coming and staying and working illegally. I know it's the same thing when students come over here. And she's hung up on that aspect of it. She actually has worked with the Wallace Collection in Scotland for a while now.
Wow. They
were going to come over and do a huge set of concerts at Easter time, which obviously didn't happen. But she's gone over there and done concerts. She's taught. She's worked with the camp they run in the summer over there and stuff like that. So she has connections there, and she's decided to go over and get her PhD. But she's not going to be able to if she doesn't have a student visa. And she's supposed to leave on the 16th, which is why we're recording today. Like, I'm bolting out of here after the show.
Well, if anybody has any information on that, or you have contact details for the Scottish Embassy in London, get in touch with Matt, mattpt55@gmail.com. Well, it won't be long before this would be the wrong place to ask, Alice, because it looks like those troublesome jocks they're shaping up for another independence referendum. I can feel it. I can feel it in my bones. And to be honest, I'm really sensing, like, I had loads of Scottish friends from the military, and they always hated us all the time. You blinking English, but they never said blinking, right? They never said that. They just they used to talk about the Battle of Bannockburn quite a lot. Just get that up. I'm not asking you to give a political opinion, but if I had to predict something, I just feel like this time, if they get a vote, they're all going to turn around and go, yes, sod off, we're on our own.
Well, everything's just so chaotic right now. I do understand if everyone wants to go off into their own little corners and sort themselves out, because the world's just insane. No, you know what, guys? We'll just look after ourselves. It's okay. Like, I totally understand why people would and also wouldn't want to. So who knows? Who knows?
I would be really, really, really sad. Like, I get the thinking, I get the motivation, I get their pride, but I don't think we hear this enough from English people when this debate comes up. But Scottish people listening, I absolutely see you as, our brothers in a nation sense. Served with you guys.
Please don't leave. Please.
Yeah, please. I would beg. I would actually beg. Like, is there anything we can do? Like, I know Scotland's there going, it's not you, it's me, I've changed. I don't know, what can we do? Like, take us back. Like, who do we have to vote for? What do we have to build? Do we have to build like a monument to haggis in the centre of Leicester Square for you guys to stay? We'll do anything. I'll tell you what we'll do. Because I believe there was a ban on haggis hunting. Like that, the wild haggis that run around the tops of mountains in Scotland. If we remove that ban and say, fine, we'll let you hunt haggis. Stay with us. Sam Watley just said I was being unfair to you. Not asking you for a political opinion, but could you please just predict the future state of the British Union and the United Kingdom? Sorry, it just came into my head. Matt's talking about the Union, and that's something that's made me feel sad. And I don't think it's political to say a thing that you want, is it? I don't know. I guess it is. If I was to give you my opinion on whether or not I wanted to stay in the European Union, I guess that would definitely be political, wouldn't it? Oh, well.
Yeah.
Oh, well. Don't leave us, Scotland. If you leave us, don't leave us with Wales. We raised Wales together. Come on. Who gets Wales in the divorce? That would be the interesting thing. Oh, well. Let's move on. Let's talk holidays. I think we should talk holidays, Matt, because you've led us down this cul-de-sac. So basically, I headed off to the Isle of Wight. We had a kind of holiday where, it's not your package holiday where you're going to get on a plane and fly to Lanzarote. That's where we've been the last couple of times. Little children, 4 hours on a plane to Lanzarote in the boiling hot heat. Not always the best idea. We went to see a lot of my wife's relatives who moved down to the Isle of Wight. So we go down to the island for 5 days. Our first day, brilliant. We get there, we sit in a pub. First time I've sat in a beer garden, actually, since lockdown. And it's fine. You walk in, they assign you a table, and then everything gets brought to you. So you're not sort of milling around, and there's like arrows on the floor and everything. And you go, oh, that's good. It's all good social distancing, that. But then there's this playground in the back of the thing. And the kids are like, playground, can we play on it? And before I've had a chance to say, let's find out what the social distancing restrictions are, they're gone. And there is no restriction. And every other kid is on there climbing on it. And you know what kids are like? They're like licking the swings or whatever, climbing it. And then at a certain point, you've already got your beer on your table and you kind of relax and you go, well, I hope this isn't the thing that gives me deadly coronavirus. So we had a nice relaxing Monday. But then the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we were just yomping around, going from place to place, doing thing after thing. And it got to Thursday evening and there was like a fireworks display somewhere where you could go and stand and see a fireworks display. And I was begging the rest of the group. I was saying, we are 3 days in to like 16-hour days of yomping around with little kids. Can we not just sit and chill? And the winning argument was the other family we were with had a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old. And they went, no, I don't want another moment in this place with these kids. We need to get out. But I just feel like I didn't rest at all during that time. So that got me to wondering, Alice, like what kind of holiday person are you? Are you like me a little bit where you really want to kind of, I don't want to do anything, leave me alone?
I'm afraid to say, Spanners, I think I'm a bit of a yomper.
Oh, no.
I think I always assume I'm never going to come back to a place ever again. Either I can't afford it or, Kent just suddenly falls off into the sea or, something happens. So my family holidays were get up, go somewhere, see some stuff, got to see lots of museums and a castle, come back home, have a meal, go out again the next day, go and see it. We wouldn't be getting up at 5 o'clock to go and trek anywhere. We'd be getting up and getting out the house by sort of 9, 10, go and see some stuff, come back and relax in the evening. So I like a bit of both, but there's absolutely no way I can actually do a not do anything kind of holiday.
Who's on the phone?
I can't. That was probably a parcel that I've been desperately waiting for, and they obviously decided to turn up right now rather than at 9 o'clock when I originally thought it was going to arrive.
We can waffle. Do you want to get it? Go get it.
Thanks, Royal Mail. No.
You sure?
No, because they have a wonderful way of, they will buzz and then start walking away. Or they'll have already written the red little card
so it's too
and will
late.
have already posted it through the door.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Alice. But where did your family tend to take you? Because when I was kids, we never went on foreign holidays, but they would never go to like a city where we could get culture. It would be like a caravan park.
No, it would be lots of different cities or places up and down the country. Rye, I love Rye. Used to go there all the time. That's lovely.
Where's that?
And then see, now my geography is going to completely escape me. Sussexy way, someone please correct me. We used to just go up and down mainly Britain. We went to France a few times and things, and over to Dublin, which was lovely. But again, got to see a museum, got to see a castle. I'm hopefully going away at the end of September, and I was like, I don't mind where we go, but we've got to go to a museum or a castle at some point. I want to sit in a pub at some point, and I definitely need to see a castle and a museum. Thank you very much.
And this is your, I guess, for your partner, if he's not the same, guess the first time you two arranged to go on holiday and he's thinking, oh, yeah, going to lie on the beach, sangria and sun. And Alice looks into his eyes and goes, we've got to see a castle and a museum. And he's like, no! Yeah.
Got an itinerary and I think you'll find there's 47 castles. No, thankfully, he's similar. So when we first went away together, I was sort of warning him, like, I'm not going to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning to go anywhere, but we're definitely going to get up, see stuff, come back, relax. And he's the same. So thank goodness for that.
Thing is,
but I don't know how people do it with small children. So obviously we can sort of, if we get a bit knackered, just nip off to the pub. So I don't quite know if that kind of a holiday works if you do have lots of children.
So you can do it. Of course you can. You're more knackered and you just justify drinking whilst looking for kids. Looking after kids.
That's face.
It's true.
It's an age thing. Once they hit about 12, you're good to go. 12, 13, you start taking those kinds of trips. Before, you go to the place where the child can go do whatever it wants, and you can sit someplace surrounded by sand and Doritos and possibly alcoholic beverages and watch them do that thing and probably not get themselves into too much trouble. Mm-hmm. I mean, we would see when we first took our daughter overseas, we went to Paris. And it was our first family trip to do let's go walk around and look at the things and the castles and museums. Up until then, it had just been like family vacation, sat on the beach, with grandparents and other family to tend the kids, and you're just like, oh, thank goodness, because small kids are hard. And we would see families with kids younger than Spanners, dragging them around in the Louvre, all these museums, and it was just torture. It was torture to see the adults. It was torture to see the children. You're like, why? Because these kids will remember none of this, and you are ruining yourself in the process. Just wait till they're older and go. It'll be better for everyone. I promise.
My kids are all right with a museum because we've kind of brainwashed them from an early age. That
you are the museum problem, my friend. I remember.
Why is that? Oh yeah, I took you to a museum.
Yeah, well, we took you to a museum, and you wandered around and go like, how can that be art? What is art? I hate art. Art is stupid. Stupid for losers. Stupid head. You're a stupid head for art.
Spanners.
Okay, that's nearly
What is this?
That's nearly correct, but it's not quite true. So my wife loves going to the Tate Modern. Absolutely loves Tate Modern, modern art, and so does Mr. Trumpets there as well. Not for me. I'm not a particularly arty art person. I will go to a museum, and I'm not particularly aesthetic. I want to know what it does. So they're like, oh, look at this square piece of canvas with a different material slapped onto it, and when they dry, they each reflect a different wavelength of color, and this pattern of wavelengths pleases me somehow. I'm like, okay, so what does that do? So that occupies that space of wall. Like that doesn't thrill me. But when at least if it's like a picture of a boat, I'll go, oh, that was good. You made the picture look like a boat. Well done. So when a child draws a boat, you're like, it's an outline. I can kind of tell it's a boat, but really you phoned that in, kid. And like to me, the ultimate would be if you painted a picture and it looked quite like a photo. And I'd be like, well done. You did really well. That looks a lot like a boat.
But you see, that's the Tate Modern. You have to do the Tate Modern, probably go to the explanations first before you start looking at stuff. Whereas every other museum, you can go and have a look at it and go, that's a boat, that's a whatever. I remember going to the Tate Modern, and I prefer classical art, but Tate Modern does have some good stuff in it. And I saw just a grey canvas on the wall, and I was like, oh, bring it on. What is this supposed to be? And I went over and I stared at it for a bit and thought, something will happen. No. And then I looked at the explanation, and the explanation was that the colour grey doesn't emote anything for you. So when you look at something that is grey, your brain cannot connect an emotion to it. So you can think of a stormy day or an elephant or a stone, but you don't actually connect with it in the way that you do if it was red, green, yellow. Okay,
so that in the Science Museum, that would completely do it for me, because that installation there is teaching me about my brain's responses to the what's it. What Matt was doing was staring at there was 5 planks of wood. And I think this was the first thing we looked at. We all went in there and there was 5 planks of wood of various shades, I don't know. And I swear, man, you were stroking your beard and you were like, oh, I think what the artist here is trying to convey, and this is where I get upset, and I'm like, wood. They're trying to convey wood. It's just pieces of wood. And then it didn't get any better. It was, oh, here's a bit of rope tangled to a dead elephant's femur. I don't get it. It made me mad, Matt.
I know it made you mad, which was sort of hilarious to watch, low key. But I mean, when you say like a photo, what you're really saying is, oh, I appreciate someone who has a particular skill.
Yeah.
But art is the next level. So you're essentially saying, I love 2 + 2 = 4, but calculus, nah, not going to bother with that. If there's any abstraction involved, I'm not going to be there. But it's like a puzzle. It's like a nonverbal puzzle sometimes to figure out. Well, if the artist says it's about X and you look at it and you're like, how can that be about X? So much of it is the struggle to understand what they're trying to put across. And I think, as I told you at the time, it's also very much about provoking a reaction. Mm-hmm. And you were very reactive in that museum. There is no doubt about it.
So my anger that it was essentially stealing public funds, that is, the
your
artist...
children were embarrassed at your behavior. I mean, honestly.
The artist was trying to convey
Stomping your feet.
that I did not stop my feet.
Can we go home now?
That's not exactly what happened. I'm not denying all of that, but I did want ice cream. I wanted to go outside and eat ice cream. Thing is, though, we did all of that pre-beer. There was a beer garden right outside that we went to afterwards. If you'd have given me beer first, it would have been a different prospect. Just let me wander around with beer. Yeah, sorry about that. We've bit of a distraction there. But that's not a museum. That is an art house. It's an art house. It's not an art gallery. Thank you.
I'd take a gallery. If there's no museums in the area, then it's an art gallery.
Someone suggested going to a castle museum, and then you only have to do one trip.
Yes, perfect.
Yeah.
And then straight to the beer garden.
Yeah,
Perfect.
there we go. But anyway, the point was, our kids are now, they're trained on museums because we've always convinced them that museums are a fun thing to do. So, so me and my wife get to go to the Natural History Museum or the Science Museum in London, both of which are excellent, excellent museums. And it's kind of an interesting day out for us too.
In fact, my family is going without me to the Metropolitan Museum even today.
Oh.
And I'm very disappointed in this.
What's in the Metropolitan Museum?
Lots and lots of art. It's like the, not the Victoria and Albert. I'm trying to think of, it's like the state, it's like the Louvre of New York. Let's call it that. That would be a reference you would get.
Okay. So made up art sucking government resources. Got it.
Art, armor, everything from medieval times all the way up through modern stuff. But they have some really amazing pieces, and artists you would recognize.
Because they've drawn a really good self-portrait with almost photo-like recreation. That's why I would recognize them.
They have statues.
Yeah,
they have the Impressionist, which everybody loves. It's a big, huge museum. It really is gigantic. And I was going to go with them, but I have to go do this recording instead. So.
Yay! Oh, you could have taken a day off to go to the museum. Oh, come on, man! Look at your beard; it's remaining unstroked. But since we're here, we were talking about going into the museums. The London museums, Natural History Museum, Science Museum, they're great. And we had a little subscription to the top. There's a Wonder Lab up at the top, which is brilliant. If there's any parents listening, and you can get out to the Wonder Lab at some point when things open up, they can go up there and like do a lot of hands-on experiments. But the thing is with these museums, they're technically free, but you're meant to, put some money, folding money preferably, into the thing as you go through. I don't want to tell tales on Mrs. Spanners, but she's got the attitude of, it's free. No, it's free. If you have to put it in, it's not free then, is it? So she will happily like wander through, and then I have to like sneak a tenner or whatever it is in afterwards. But I think that's the Essex way, Alice.
It may well be. I'm afraid I would put money in for the museums. I mean, if the Natural History Museum went, it's bad enough when they took Dippy away.
Yes.
I
didn't like that.
Oh, I could have performed a protest over that. That was just horrendous.
That was the giant whale skeleton, wasn't it?
How dare you?
No.
It's Dippy the dinosaur.
Oh, right.
The Diplodocus. And I know he was supposed to be it wasn't the actual skeleton or something you found out years down the line. It was something like a plaster cast or something they found in America. But still, they've replaced him with a whale. I'm very unhappy about it, but I would still pay to go in. I mean, if you're paying for the cafe or definitely going via the gift shop, doesn't matter what age you are, you will definitely go through the gift shop and purchase something random.
Now then, our kids as well, because we're really mean about gift shops, we've never let them get anything from a gift shop. We've trained them, head down, go through. It's not good value. But we always say, like, if you want a thing, like a toy or something, let us know. We will always consider it. But I don't want the idea of, because we're here, we're going to get something that just happens to have zoo written on it.
Exactly. You come away then with sort of random pencils and key rings because they're the only things you can afford.
Okay.
Says the person with loads of random key rings and pens from the gift shop.
I would make an argument for refrigerator magnets.
Yes.
Those are good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we do tend to get a refrigerator magnet of places we go to. But on this trip to the Isle of Wight, we discussed before we went down, because they asked about gift shops. And I said, okay, look, you've been pretty good. If you see something of value that is the kind of thing you would have bought anyway at some point, let me know. We will consider that maybe. And as you know, Matt, to a child, that is basically a blood oath that they will definitely get something out of a souvenir shop. Now, one of these places we went to, we ended up staying for this fire show. I mean, it was good. It was a guy with poise. Do you know what a poi is? Where you've got like the chains, fire chains. She's got a chain with a burny thing on the end, and they're swinging them around, and it's a big fire display, and things explode. No, it's great. Brilliant. Ended at 9:30 after a full day's yomping, and the only way out was through the gift shop. And they remembered this perceived blood oath and said, right, gift shop. Oh, God, I'm so tired. And my wife's like, no, we've got to go now. I'm like, okay, so you go to the car. I will sort this out, kids. We have so little time to pick something. And and they had it in their heads they were definitely going to get something. And we ended up getting a little tiny teddy bear that I was like, it's like a little tiny teddy bear, Ivy. Like, it's not any different to any other teddy bears. Do you want it? You're just getting it for the sake of it. She's like, no, this teddy bear is special. It is called Noodle, and I want it. And for the last week, she's been treating this teddy bear like it's precious cargo just to prove the point how precious and brilliant it is, even though she's got 1,000 others.
My daughter collected stuffed animals amazingly. And she told me one time, this is before she entered her teenagerhood, that they all had names and they all had stories. And it was like, no way. And she sat there, of the 50 or so that we could see, named every one of them. Do not doubt your daughter on this. This. And she would see them and they would like talk to her. And that's why she would want to get them.
Oh, man. Yeah, well,
no kidding. Like, kids that age is a whole different ballgame.
Evolutionarily, babies of things like kittens or human babies look cute so that you will feel the urge to look after them. You're more likely to look after something that looks cute like that. So obviously, like, they've tapped into that with teddy bears, haven't they? And they've made things that set off your urge to look after the thing. So they've got to have it. And then I ended up getting myself a Rubik's snake rip-off. I don't know if you know those. It's like a Rubik's Cube, but it goes really long and then you can make it into shapes. £2.50. And I was like, oh, yeah, it reminded me of my childhood. The boy, cap gun. Of all the things, cap gun. And like, it came with like, I think infinite caps as well. So he's just been running around the neighborhood. Crack, 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 crack. Oh, God, I'm waiting for complaints. But yeah, souvenirs, gift shops, bad. Alice, you've taken me on another wonderful diversion. But yeah, we were talking about keeping kids occupied. You know, Matt, you said stick them at a place where they can do a thing. Stick them at a place where they can do a thing and you can sit and relax. Slightly cold beach. That's what we did in the final morning that we were there. And I sent you a photograph and you could see it clearly wasn't beach weather.
No, not at all. But that is making me think of our old rules for being at the beach or at the pool, which is namely, when the child is blue, it's time to go in. Because she would get out of the water. I mean, be like azure, like blue, shaking, chattering. We think it might be time to get in. No, I'm fine. I'm going to go back in the water.
Yep, they insisted on going in the water. Alice, are you beachy? UK beach?
Well, yeah, living in Southend, it's right at the end of the road, so it looks lovely. But I'm not really a beachy person. You can't see because of my terribly old camera, but I'm a natural redhead, so I just burn. So if I was to go on any kind of relaxing holiday with a beach, I'd have to have a museum nearby to go in, cool down, and then come back out again, or have shade by a pool or something. But I'm loving the tips because my nephew's going to be 2 this week. So I need to learn these things for when I take him out on these fantastic museum trips that his mum will not be very impressed with.
2's a little bit, is he still in a buggy?
No. Oh, no. He's at the escaping stage.
Yeah, he's at the stage where you have to start talking about procedures for when you get lost. So you have to teach him about planting. So, you know, a plant has its roots in the ground. If you get lost, plant there until we come back and find you. Or you can shout for help, but don't go anywhere. Don't wander off. It'll make it harder for you to find us. And when my daughter, I think was 6, my wife and her sister were in one of these museums. I wasn't there, so I'm not to blame for this story at all. They ended up going through all these bits and bobs, and they suddenly realized that V wasn't with them. And of course, they start panic and they start running back. It's been 10 minutes since they last saw her. But when there's 4 or 5 kids running around and a few adults, it's actually harder. You don't know which kid is looking out for each adult. That is, in a swimming pool, that's even more of a nightmare. But she ended up just planting to the point where, you know, the staff were trying to take her to the reception area so that they could call her. And she's like, no, I got told to plant. I am staying here. And they respected that, which was cool. Matt?
No, I was just thinking of the worst for me. I took her to a mostly Mozart concert, and afterwards, this is at Lincoln Center. So the plaza afterwards is just utterly packed. And what they'd done was the urban astronomers had set up all these telescopes. And I'm like, do you want to look through the telescope? Yeah, let's look through the telescope. So we stand online, we look at one telescope, we're going to another one. I'm like, oh, wait, here's a better one. And I go and I stand online. And I stand online and I turn around and my daughter is not behind me. And she was maybe 7 or 8. And I'm like, this is going to look bad when I explain it to my wife, isn't it? And so it was. It took me about 5 or 6 minutes to find her. She'd actually gone to the original line and was just standing on that, like, no big deal. Like, what's the problem, Dad?
You're in the wrong line, Dad.
But on at least I never locked her in a car, which my wife actually did when we were in California one time. So I feel like I could never really lose this argument because I only lost her temporarily and she was never locked in anything.
Oh God! Look, before it sounds like I'm just having a go at my wife. I've definitely lost the kids before, and the best one is when you find them again and they had no idea that they were lost. That's the best one. Like you're sitting there in a panic and they're like, "What? I'm totally just chilling with this person. Look, we've been poking this stick into the dirt for 20 minutes. Well, you thought that you'd lost us." But yeah, some tips, Alice. How give them a spade and just send them into the sand. Digging a hole seems to occupy an hour of our kids' time. But you'll have to go back to what you remembered as a child, Alison. What you liked doing on. You are calling Southend a beach. I think that is generous. It's like mud flats.
How dare you?
It's
There's
mud
sand
flats.
and everything.
Under the mud.
There's stones.
When the
sand,
tide
and
goes
sea.
out, it's squelchy mud for like a mile.
Same as any other beach. It's a beach, Southend Beach.
Right. Well, look, I know you're heavily into your beauty regime, so not something we normally talk about here on the Remain Indoors podcast. But look, we'll reach across the gender divide, and any gentlemen there who like applying the types of products I'm going to ask you about. You told me that you were fixing magnetic false eyelashes. Magnetic.
Yeah, magnetic false eyelashes. And when you're saying into your beauty regime, genuinely thought you were talking to Matt then, because I remember being at uni and I was living with people that were sort of about 4 years younger than me and showering and then realised there were loads of anti-wrinkle creams. And I was like, oh, that's a bit weird. None of them are mine. Well, maybe I should start. And I've only just started thinking about it. And makeup, if it takes longer than 15 minutes, I'm bored. I like having my nails done.
Oh.
And so
that always looks really boring. Just sit in that little shop and have someone sitting there doing your nails.
But it's relaxing because I can't physically do anything. So for an hour, I just have to sit there. I can't do anything else other than have my nails pretty colours. So that's perfect for me. I love doing that. And I decided to try and up the beauty regime by attempting to figure out how to colour in my eyebrows properly. Thankfully, the dodgy webcam means you can't quite see what a disaster they are today. And magnetic eyelashes, because the glue I've tried before and you end up gluing your eyes shut, or there's just globules of stuff all over your face. Magnetic eyelashes, cheapy things that I got off Amazon, whack on some eyeliner, plonk the eyelashes on, and they stay. It's mental.
Jack in the chat would like to know if you implant the magnets into your eyelids and then stick the eyelashes to them.
Yeah, I have questions too.
They are on the actual false eyelashes, and there are tiny little squares of magnets. So I don't know what's in the eyeliner, but there's something in the eyeliner. Put it on your face, let it dry, and then the tiny little magnets that are on the thin eyelashes, you then put them on, and then they stay. But there's something, the stuff that's in the eyeliner, if you don't let it dry properly, your eye then gets stuck open a little bit, which I didn't quite realise.
So you're painting metal onto your eyelid, and then is the price of beauty worth that? Like, are you feeling very insecure that your partner's going to leave you, that you need to stick metal to your face, and then is your relationship in trouble?
I just thought I'd give it a go. Oh no, it's more in trouble because I don't wear enough makeup.
Oh really?
Oh man, I'm just can't build. Oh, I might stick on some.
See,
I'm going out. So then
you need to get married and have kids, Alice, because the way I see it, Matt, when it comes to any kind of aesthetic, even losing a bit of weight, like the threshold for her to leave me now purely on aesthetics is much, much broader. Like I'd have to really let go. I'd have to like deliberately tattoo my face at this point for her to go, okay, based on looks alone, I'm leaving you.
Yeah, well, but you always knew that was
Yeah, all
never the
right.
bargain in your particular relationship.
Fine. Look, it's true. Like, you keep saying it, and it really hurts every time. So Matt's basically saying, because she never went with me for looks anyway, it doesn't matter how fat or ugly I get. It hurts, even though it's
That's
true.
not me. I'm just repeating what she said. I mean,
She didn't
right?
say. She didn't say that.
Oh, she didn't say that? You make it seem like she said that.
She said it with her eyes, basically. She says
Oh,
it with her
okay.
deeds, doesn't she? Because I'm like, oh, I put on nearly a stone in weight, and she's like, And like, no, it's alarming. Look, I've got a visible belly now. or I've even done it the other way. I've gone, Nick, I've cut down 14 pounds. I'm feeling like tight. I'm feeling amazing. And she's like, good for you. I'm like, what was the point? What was the point in all that effort? So basically, as a 39-year-old man who's married with 2 kids, it's not worth me even like putting on. It's not even worth me changing a shirt or not smelling. There's really very little incentive. But good on you. When you were saying eyelashes, I got mixed up. I thought you were saying eyebrows, and I was thinking magnetic eyebrows.
Magnetic eyebrows.
Yeah. Could you do that?
Now that I don't know. That could be the way forward, because I didn't realize the joys of going to beauticians when you get your legs waxed or whatever. You start learning stuff about the female body, and oh yeah, well that gets hairier, but that bit doesn't, and that bit lightens up. And I was like, my eyebrows, like they're just getting weird, and they seem to be shrinking. Oh yeah, no, as you get older, it's like I'm 33. Why do I have to start colouring my eyebrows in? Why is there hair in places I don't want it? And then there's hair in that. Why is it? Why? So yeah, learning a lot of stuff. So magnetic eyebrows, that would save me a lot of hassle. I really can't. If anyone's got a decent basic beauty regime that lasts about 10 minutes, I will do it. But I don't. I just forget about that kind of stuff.
You're reminding me of a John Mulaney stand-up sketch when he talks about turning 30. He's like, now I'm in my 30s. My butt is always moist. And he's complaining that he has a much sweatier butt in general. And when he said that, I like stood up, like, yes! And then I looked around and everyone like, oh, why is no one else cheering? It's just me with the 30s butt sweat. But the saving your time with your eyebrows, my sister-in-law went and had like a semi-permanent tattoo instead of eyebrows. So she had very thin eyebrows as well. But it went wrong, and it ended up kind of looking a little bit scary. Like it was just a little bit like too high and too thick, and it looked a bit kind of, and like she was so unhappy with it. And bless her, she was just like, oh, I need to get rid of this. So she tried to like scrub it off before it like set or whatever, which then made it worse because it hadn't quite set and it was able to like spread around, and it was just it didn't go well. So I would not, based on the one time I've seen it, recommend tattooing your eyebrows on.
Just colour them in and hope for the best.
Oh dear. Well, look, thank you for coming and hanging out with us, Alice. We're coming towards the end of our time here, and you've sacrificed so much. You've sacrificed a parcel. What was it? Anything nice? Was it a gift for my birthday?
No, not your birthday. My stepdad's birthday deserves a nice treat, and I'll have to pick it up tomorrow now, Spanners.
What did you get him?
I couldn't possibly tell you.
One, he's not going to listen to this.
Is he not going to listen?
No.
Okay. It's a nice watch.
Oh, that's nice. But the thing is, a watch is very personal. Are you very sure he's going to like it?
Yes, because he's a collector of, and there's been lots of detailed discussions, whispered discussions between me and my mother. So we know exactly what Dave likes. So deserves
that's
it.
Good. My birthday is in a few days. It is on Sunday, and it's a big one. Finally turning 30. It's felt like a long time coming. No, I will be turning 40, which sort of feels like it does feel like a big one. 40 feels like a proper age. It's a grown-up age. It's undeniably grown-up, I think, at 40. But this year, my birthday is normally ignored because my family just don't seem to care about getting me stuff or doing anything or acknowledging it's my birthday. But I think this year, because it's 40, I have managed to gather that things are afoot, that they've got me some things. And not only that, my mother sent me a card and remembered. So it must be a big one. But my family are terrible at keeping secrets. So when they've been doing something birthday related, it has been very obvious that they're doing something birthday related. It's been quite fun watching them trying to keep stuff secret. So I'm very excited. 40, Matt. That's kind of a big one. You must remember your 40th.
Yeah, sure. Exactly.
What?
And that's what happened.
Oh, exactly. Oh, right. Okay. Well, I've been jumping up and down, making a big deal for the last few years, saying, I want a birthday party. And she keeps saying, when you're 40. When you're 40. When you're 40. So I don't think I'm getting a surprise party, but we are doing a bit of go-karting on Saturday, just a few of us. So that'll be good fun. But yeah.
I'm still jealous.
Well, you know, you could...
Left out of the fun.
Well, you live in the wrong country. I'm so sorry. I can't do anything about that. But yeah, 8 or 9 of us going down, doing a bit of karting. So that will be okay. And I think I'm getting a cake as well. So that's fun. That'll be exciting. But the interesting thing with 40 is, and you two are at different life stages here. So 33 and 54?
54.
54. Yep. I remember being like a little bit depressed when I was around 29. And thinking about like time flying and mortality and how stuff was going to roll on and life very much changing, and I'm just got married as well. And I remember making a deal with myself, because instead of like freaking out and going, oh my God, we live an infinitesimally small amount of time in a cold, dark, unforgiving universe, unloved by a mortal creator, and all that kind of stuff. I said, right, instead of freaking out about that now, I agreed to kind of live in the moment. So like I said to myself, look, it's okay. You don't have to worry about the mysteries of the universe, whether there's an afterlife, God, all those kind of things. Don't worry about it. You're 29 years old. Don't let it ruin your 30s. You're not going to die today, so don't think about it. Live in the moment. You're probably not going to die this year because you've not got some terrible disease. Chill out. So I made a deal with myself that I would put that slightly to the back of my mind, and I picked a ridiculous far off time where I said, look, we'll do a deal. Put it out of your mind now, and I promise we'll focus on all that again when you're 40 in 2020. Because 2020 will never come around, will it? Never, ever will that come around. So I'm going to have karting, a cake, and then an existential crisis. So that's my plan. That's my week plan for the weekend.
And your show title.
It's a bit long, isn't it? What was it again? You have to remind me what it was.
Karting, a cake, and an existential crisis.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Perfect.
We'll do that. Yeah, okay. All right. I think we can wrap that up. Alice Ryan, where can people find you on the internets? Oh no, wait. It's at Alice E. Ryan on Twitter.
Well done.
But I keep seeing photos of you on Instagram because I only follow like 4 people on Instagram. So I just see them on a loop. All your pictures are of like cameras and pointing them at people. You're making a film.
Most of the time. Yep. Although
right.
I have got a picture of the magnetic eyelashes so people can see what I was tackling the other day. And that's now don't unfriend me, Spanners, but I'm at _Alice Ryan _.
Oh, that's the worst possible. You may as well start with an underscore. Just go and change it and start with an underscore. So on Instagram, it's at Alice _Ryan _.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what happens to a person. Like, who hurt you to make that happen? That is shocking.
Person who stole Alice E. Ryan. That's what they did.
But
I can't believe the next time we'll speak to you, Spanners, you'll be an actual adult.
Yeah, that's true. And then on Twitter, you're at Alice E. Ryan as well. Just quickly tell me then, what's the film you're working on? I'm always so jealous and like, oh, I know, I know you're always struggling with castings and stuff, and you're always looking for kind of middle of the road looking kind of, I can't quite pick where he's from. What is he, like Italian or something? That kind of person. They're always looking for that in TV. What are you working on?
Always. The next one we'll be shooting next week, actually. It's Arc Indie Productions' See What She Did, and it's a horror film with a bit of a twist. So looking forward to that. Written, directed by Daniel Keeble, starring Samantha Anderson. And we've got a fantastic team on board, and I'm really looking forward to it. And it's all being filmed locally.
What's the twist?
I can't tell you. You'll have to watch it.
Okay, is it long?
No.
Okay, good.
It's going to be like a 10-15 minute.
Okay, in that case, I'm in. Follow Matt at MattPT55 on Twitter. And Facebook at Matt Trumpets. No, Matt Trumpets. I opened that Facebook account for you. Do you remember?
I thought it was Thunderbeast, but yeah.
Oh, maybe. I'll take the credit for it. Yeah.
Might as well, he's not here.
Because it actually says Matt Trumpets. It actually says Matt Trumpets, isn't it? So you can be your Facebook friend. And you post pictures of trumpets. And I'm on Facebook too. Find me Richard Reddy on there and follow me at what show is this? At Indoors Remain, and follow me as well at Spanners Ready. Help push me up to 4,000 Twitter followers. I really, really appreciate it. I will be back here next Thursday. We're talking about alcohol and beer with one of Matt's friends, and then we'll get Dr. Holding the week afterwards as well. And maybe we'll have one show where we just like invite a bunch of our regular contributors to all be on at the same time and have just a big kind of pile on. Until next time, work hard, be kind, have fun. remain indoors. That's good. I didn't do like a good intro or a good outro, but I guess it was kind